Hello, once again, my name is Faz and I'm here with Hellena Taylor. As you might have recognized her, she is the lovely voice from Bayonetta. And would you like to say hello, Helena?
Hello, everybody.
So, how are you today, first of all?
I'm great. Really good.
I'm glad. How are you enjoying the New Year's? I know that it's been quite a hectic time.
It's been a really wonderful start to the year, actually. Yes, enjoying it so far.
I'm glad. So we'll get straight into it. And one of the first things I always have to question. So I know you've been asked this before, but we'll ask it again. So how did the role of Bayonetta come up for you, particularly?
Yes. I auditioned for it one day. All I had was a line drawing of her and 5 lines, and I had 5 minutes to go and prepare for it. And um, I just decided to do 3 different kind of bold takes on her. I had no idea who she was. I didn't realise how big she'd be in my life. Um, and I went in and I put down the tracks and then heard I got the job, which was great.
Do you happen to remember the lines?
No, I don't. I don't.
That's okay though. So it's been almost 10 years since the first role. 2009 was when the first game came out.
Gosh, has it really?
Since when Bayonetta 1 officially came out and then it got ported over to the Wii U. What's that experience been like? Because you didn't reprise the role of Bayonetta till Anarchy Reigns on 2013. So there was a big long gap between Bayonetta 1.
Yes. That was really interesting because coming back for Bayonetta 2, I couldn't remember what I'd done in the first record. So the wonderful booth director, Chris Zimmerman Salter, knows the game better than I do and gave me some great prompts to get back into her. And it took me about 5 minutes and there she was again.
I wish we could all get back into things like that. We all need a prompt in life.
Yes, we do. We do.
So when you went into Bayonetta 1 and 2, because of that gap, what was the what do you reckon was the differences between the two roles that you had played, or the two deliveries, I guess you could say?
I think in Bayonetta 2, I felt more confident that I knew where I was going with her. When we recorded the first Bayonetta, I had no idea. I didn't see any of the artwork. I didn't know if I was fighting dragons or orcs or what kind of thing I was fighting. I just had to make it as big in my head as I could and create pictures of something that I didn't really understand. So having done her once, Bayonetta 2 was, I think, a lot easier once I'd got back into the swing of things because I knew her character a little bit.
Well, that is... Well, to be fair, I don't remember there being any orcs in Bayonetta.
No, there weren't. But I mean, I had no clue. They gave me nothing. They're so afraid of confidentiality issues that sometimes it's quite difficult. I knew nothing about the game. I knew nothing about her. I recorded the lines. I had 2 minutes to look at the lines before I delivered them. So I just had to create something in my head.
So when you created the personality of Bayonetta, what exactly... You said you went for something big, and you mentioned in other interviews...
Well, I knew she was a witch, so I thought, well, she's a magical creature, and she's nothing like me. So I just had fun with her and made her quite sassy, and some of the lines helped me with that. And she just takes no prisoners. She has no doubts. She's utterly confident. I kind of got into that feeling inside, and then the voice came out.
You always say that you're quite different to Bayonetta, and the reason why I bring it up is with other voice actors. They tend to put something in that is their own, or it's like some form of their personality is similar to their character. but you say the opposite. What makes you so different to Bayonetta?
Well, I think the only time I put little bits of me in was when she was talking to Cereza. I kind of made her a little bit motherly, a little bit softer. Um, I'm not someone that plays with guns. I don't have all the answers for everything. I'm not sassy. I don't wear black leather. Just the list goes on and on, that hyper confident, that she takes no prisoners. She kicks ass.
Oh, well, everyone who's been playing as in the past 3 to 4 years in her various incarnations have really enjoyed your performance as her.
Yes.
With that being said, speaking of kicking ass, what characters has been your favorite interactions? Do you happen to remember any of the characters that she interacted with in the series? And was there any standouts for you particularly?
Well, I only recorded on my own. I never got to meet the other characters. So I enjoyed imagining Cereza. The interaction with her father is very interesting. I just had a great time doing the whole thing, really.
One of my favorite characters aside from Bayonetta has been Rodan, basically the shopkeeper. Do you have any sort of favorite interactions with him, if you happen to remember? Like, in the sense of, what was your favorite lines in terms of line reads to Rodan, the character?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember that. They didn't let me go away with the script again because of confidentiality issues. So I literally had 2 minutes with the line. I recorded the line 3 times, and then it was gone because I had to free my mind for the next one. So I can't remember any of the lines.
Oh, that's completely fine. It is kind of it is quite different in that regard. Hearing about that, about the confidentiality thing, a bit, just to talk a bit more about that, to give everyone a bit more of an idea of how the confidentiality side works a little bit. Could you explain a bit more as to? You said you only had 2 minutes and had to take away the script. Was this for how long did it take for recording and between the first line and until the project was done?
I recorded for 4 days.
Oh wow! You did was that Bayonetta 1 and 2, or was
half a day each? So four 4-hour sessions it took me.
Oh wow! I didn't think. I swear Bayonetta talked more than that.
Yeah, no. I'm very quick, and so's Chris Zimmerman Salter. It was literally do 3 lines of each line, and that's it. It's very quick.
So, you've done a lot of acting, generally speaking. You've done a lot of voice acting, but you've also done some film and theatre stuff. What's the differences when you tackle each particular side?
Well, I trained doing theatre. I trained at Lambda, and that's my first love. I think it's great training because you work with the great writers of our age and ages past. Theatre is my favourite medium, I think. Film is a lot of fun depending on the project. There's a lot less creative control. And I would say voiceover is more like theatre than film, because you are in control in the box, although you do have a director that gives you some great input. So it's a wonderful thing doing voiceover. I really enjoy it. And you get to use your imagination as well.
What differences in the deliveries do you take when it comes to voice acting versus theatre at that point? Because obviously there's a lot more imagination in voice acting, and in theatre you are given most of the character and their sort of how they're supposed to
I would say there's a lot of imagination in theatre as well, but
okay.
It's really the projection levels. In a theatre, for instance, if you have a 2,000-seater theatre like the Old Vic, that's very different to the intimate space of a voice booth. But in terms of the bigness of Bayonetta, I find her quite theatrical, actually.
Would you reckon Bayonetta would make a great theatre actress then? if she was ever in real life, would you reckon Bayonetta would suit the theater environment?
Oh yes, definitely. She'd be in her element.
Let's muse this a little. What play do you reckon she would be in?
Oh, I think she'd really enjoy the Scottish play. She'd like the big Shakespearean roles, or maybe Greek tragedy. That would be quite fantastic.
Any specifics? I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but any specifics?
Um, I think she'd quite enjoy playing somebody like Medea, or perhaps the witches in the Scottish play. I'm not sure, really. Something like that. Yes.
All right. So I have some questions here from some of the fans,
Oh, yes.
and some of them we've heard before, and others are quite new. But we'll go through them anyway. So I got asked this, and I'm gonna ask this anyway, just in case. How does it feel to be a celebrity?
Oh my gosh, I don't feel like a celebrity at all. The great thing about voice acting is that no one recognises you when you go to the supermarket. I do have a Twitter following, which I really enjoy being on Twitter. That's a great thing. But I don't feel like a celebrity at all. I feel just like a jobbing actor. I was very lucky to get Bayonetta, and she's really captured the imagination of fans, and that's thrilling for me.
So another, I'm really glad actually that you've had such a positive response to this character. With that being said, I've already asked us about how you got your role as Bayonetta, but Chaz would just like to tell you that you did an amazing job.
Why, thank you.
So another question I got is, what is your favorite thing about Bayo's personality or design?
I really like her hair. Her personality. I just like her sassy, throwaway kind of nature. I like her strength, I think.
Well, she. I think you described it best in the Nintendo News article where you said she's a woman's woman. I think that's probably the best way to describe her. With that being said, I got a quick question. With that being said, you are aware of both Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 designs, the differences, or at least somewhat of it. Which do you
Yes.
prefer? I have a bit of a...
I'm probably not supposed to say that, but I have long hair myself, so I like her with long hair.
Oh, okay. So for Bayonetta...
Yes, that's my personal preference, yes.
So your personal preference is the beehive?
Yes.
You heard it here, folks. Beehive is better. So next question, Jack asks, what's your opinions on the amount of weapons Bayonetta uses? I'm not sure if you are familiar with Bayonetta, but she happens to not just use guns in the series. She actually swaps around quite a lot. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I think so, yes. I'm very much not into guns or swords or anything like that, but I don't really know how to answer that question. I think she sort of morphs in between them, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yes. And she's just really quick. She's very intelligent. She's lightning fast. I think it suits her.
I think you answered the question perfectly, to be honest. So, Sam asks, if you could create your own Umbran spell, which spell? What would you call it, and how would it work?
I didn't hear. If I could create my what?
Your own Umbran witch spell. So, for Bayonetta, she uses Umbran spells, to control her hair, and used a variety of different summons and weapons that she has in the game. So, if you had control over her powers, what sort of spell or power would you give yourself?
What sort of spell or power
would you give yourself? What sort of power from... So, free reign on this one.
I would like I think the power of invisibility would be really exciting. Because you get to go into all sorts of different places and listen in on all sorts of interesting conversations. So I think that would be my power that I would like.
All right, then. So I think we're coming up to the end of our interview. And before we go, there is something I wanted to talk about, and that is to do with Smash Brothers. So as you might remember, Bayonetta won an entire poll as being the most popular character, most voted character in Europe, to be in the Super Smash Brothers game that came out back in 2014.
Yes.
And finally, she had been released 2 years later in 2016.
Yes.
So, if you can answer, what is that feeling like that you get to share the stage, or at least your character, this character that you've built and given a voice to, shares the stage with Mario and Sonic, all these very much legacy type characters? Is that something you appreciate, or is that?
Oh yes, I think it's a great honour to be counted among them. Yes, that's exciting, and I hope that the fans enjoyed it as well.
Do you have any sort of particular? Do you actually have a favorite mascot? With that being said,
no, I don't.
We'll just call it Bayonetta. It's fine. Right. Before we leave, my one final question. What do you think is the most important thing for someone who wants to get into voice acting and become the next Bayonetta, Jean, or Rodin?
Gosh. Well, I would say the most important thing is to train your voice. It's like an instrument, and it took me 3 years to train my voice. I can do lots of things with my voice. I can make it sound younger, sound older, sound deeper, sound lighter. I think to be as versatile as possible, there are some amazing places that you can go to train, or you can get books, or you can go online. But it really is an instrument, and to be as versatile as you can possibly be is the best thing.
All right, then. Where can people find you, Hellena?
Find me on Twitter, @Hellena Taylor.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Faz. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Well, we hope to have you back sometime. And if we have more questions, we would love to have you back on in some form or capacity.
Perfect.
With that being said, my name is Faz. And if you'd like to know more information about the community groups near you, don't hesitate to go to Nintendo Players UK, as well as follow us on Twitter @Nintendo Play UK, on Instagram @Nintendo Players UK, and on Facebook as well @Nintendo Players UK. Thank you very much for joining us, and I shall see you guys soon. Bye!